Azerbaijan and Armenia have signed a peace deal at the White House aimed at ending decades of hostilities. The two neighbours have clashed over the disputed Nagorno-Karabakh region since the late 1980s. Azerbaijan reclaimed it in 2023. Turkey has now welcomed the agreement as a boost for regional stability.
Donald Trump was all smiles as he welcomed Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev to the White House, and little wonder. The US president seems to have found a solution to a decades-old conflict and in the process secured Washington exclusive development rights to a strategic corridor through the energy-rich South Caucasus.
It's a long time, 35 years. They fought, and now they're friends, and they're going to be friends for a long time. This declaration establishes what they are calling a great honor for me. I didn't ask for this. The Trump route for international peace and prosperity, which is a special transit area that will allow Azerbaijan to get full access to its territory of Nakhchivan while fully respecting Armenia's sovereignty.
So it's a big deal for Trump, especially ahead of next week's summit with Vladimir Putin, because Russia sees the two former Soviet republics firmly within its sphere of influence. Turkey, a long-time supporter of its neighbour Azerbaijan, said it welcomed the progress achieved towards a lasting peace. But what does it mean for Azerbaijan and Armenia? The two have been locked in sporadic border clashes since the late 1980s. The most recent flare-up came when Azerbaijan seized the contested territory of Nagorno-Karabakh, a previously autonomous region populated mostly by ethnic Armenians. The offensive lasted just 24 hours but displaced nearly the entire population. The self-declared republic was later dissolved after a ceasefire between Armenia and Azerbaijan, but talks over a peace treaty stalled. Now the two have a chance to normalise relations.
I'm sure that Armenia and Azerbaijan will find courage and responsibility to reconcile, and also the people will reconcile. We will turn the page of standoff, confrontation and bloodshed and provide bright and safe future for our children. So I'm very happy.
This is a great deal we've achieved today. This is a success for our countries and for our region, and a success for the world, because a more peaceful region means a safer world.
The two men followed other world leaders in saying they would back President Trump to receive the Nobel Peace Prize for his diplomacy. More important for the people of Azerbaijan and Armenia was Aliyev's assertion that the agreement would bring eternal peace to the region.
Right, let's bring in Olesya Vartanyan, a South Caucasus analyst in Tbilisi. Good to see you. From what you can make of it, is this really a peace deal?
Well, it definitely grants some more stability for the coming months or even years. And in that sense, it's definitely a very positive development. Armenia and Azerbaijan, they share an active front line. There are soldiers in some places. They are just meters away from each other. And they spent the last 5 years in regular escalations or even a big war in 2020. What's really very important for this deal to work is a continued engagement from the US side, and also for the European Union to step in. We heard some statements made by Brussels during the night. But what is really very important at this very moment is for Turkey to follow up and to start and maybe finalize some of the agreements that were made with Armenia on opening the border and some others, so that we see the normalization taking place in the whole region, not just between Armenia and Azerbaijan.
You raised the US's role here. The sticking point between Armenia and Azerbaijan has revolved around a corridor that the US will now police. What exactly is the role of the US in this plan?
Well, to be honest, this is a very normal commercial deal that you can find in many other parts of the world, where you invite a private company that helps you with monitoring and facilitation of certain trade relations or transport cooperation. And in that sense, what the US did is basically added with very final piece in the puzzle that was coming together between Armenia and Azerbaijan in the last several years of their bilateral negotiations. relations. And then the US role in that sense is really very positive if it can work. What can spoil the deal is worsened relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan or a new conflict.
And so with all of that in mind, how is this agreement being perceived in both countries at present and what we know of it?
Well, the ceremony at the White House, it was taking place very late at night for the region. And I know that some people stayed awake just to follow because it's a very big announcement. It's a very big news for many people in Armenia and Azerbaijan. Those who had to wake up in the morning, they definitely learned a very good news. These two countries, they have been in conflict for over 30 years. And then they went through two very big wars. Thousands of lives were taken. And then you could see the demand in both societies for a ceased violence and then given an alternative. Hopefully, this agreement can at least give a guarantee for stability for more months or even years so that these countries can start living in peace.
Olesya Vartanyan in Tbilisi, thanks so much.
Thank you.